Welcome to this week's Lunch and Learn. I'm Amanda Warfield. I'm a simplicity focused content marketing strategist and copywriter, and I am on a mission to help course creators and other online educators simplify their marketing so that they can make a bigger impact in less time. I go live every Monday, typically at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. We had to change the time a little bit for today, but typically 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific for a live Lunch and Learn. Sometimes you get me solo, sometimes we have an incredible guest, and today we are going to be talking about 5 ways that you can simplify your marketing today, and that you can simplify your marketing in less than an hour today, because a lot of times we like the idea of simplifying our marketing, right? In theory, we want to simplify our marketing. We want our marketing to take less time. However, in practice, that's not always as realistic as we would hope, right? In reality, we can want to do something and still have a hard time finding the time to actually do it. And it can feel really overwhelming with not knowing where to start or even just setting aside the time to do the things we want to do. If you can relate to that, let me know in the chat. And I'd love to know, what are some things, marketing related or not, that have been on your to-do list for a while that you really would love to do if you could only find the time, right? I know that for me personally, I constantly have a barrage of website updates that I want to make, or am even in the process of making, but it just takes so much longer than I anticipate. I have such a long list and ClickUp of projects and things I want to work on that, man, it's so hard to find the time. And if you can relate to that, let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat if you're here live watching. But that is our goal today. I'm going to give you 5 things you can do today in less than an hour to make a big difference in helping you simplify your marketing, not just for right now, but for moving forward as well. So, the first thing that you can do today is to narrow your focus to one marketing goal. Marketing is a wide range, right? And there's so many things that fall under that umbrella of marketing, which is why I am creating the Chasing Simple playbook so that you can have a look at all the different aspects of marketing under that one umbrella, but in a simplified way. That's launching on the 11th, actually, of this month. It's launch month. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description where you join the waitlist and learn more about that, because everyone who's going to be on the waitlist is going to get a special discount, and you're not going to want to miss that. But marketing has a wide umbrella, right? There's so many different things that can fall under marketing, and because of that, it's really easy to find yourself having a ton of marketing goals, which, when you have a large team or you've got a massive company, right, that's not a problem. You can have paid marketing goals and speaking goals and content goals, and you can be on YouTube and a podcast, and you can show up on Instagram, and you can do reels and repurpose your YouTube to a podcast and to your blog. And honestly, those are even just content related ones, but then you start thinking about PR and speaking in communities and working on your website. I mean, there's a million and one goals that you can have for your marketing, right? And they're all good goals, but they don't all necessarily have to be good goals right now. And so my suggestion, and what I personally like to do, is I'd like to narrow down my focus to one marketing goal. However, that's a little oversimplified, right? So, in particular, I like to have one outward marketing goal. So, one thing that I am outwardly sharing about within my marketing, one offer, one type of messaging. And that switches with different seasons and different, seasons of the business and what my current goals are. But at any given time, I really try to have just one marketing goal for outward marketing for my content, one marketing goal for inwardly. What are those marketing projects that I am working on to improve my marketing, right? And so maybe that's, well, for me right now, a large part of that is working on Facebook ads and trying to figure them out, right? And running them myself, and more than one of me, running them myself, and just trying to figure out how to make them work for my business, right? So that is an outward marketing goal. But then or an inward marketing goal, sorry. Even though it creates outward marketing, what I'm doing is I'm working on the inside pieces and the strategy. And then with my content, I'm creating the content, but really the goal is to have one focus, right? And so they're both marketing because marketing it's always external in some way, shape, or form. But one is a more outward, I'm focused on what it's doing outwardly versus I'm focused on the mechanics of it. Hopefully that makes sense and that's clear. But narrowing your focus to one marketing goal. There are tons of different ways you could break that up, but try to keep it as simple as possible because if you say, well, I've got a paid marketing goal and a speaking marketing goal and a content marketing goal, then you start getting spread too thin. The second way that you can, in less than an hour today, simplify your marketing is to use templates and to decide on templates really for your emails and for your social media because most likely you already have graphics you've created in Canva that you can use as a template. You probably already have captions that you feel really good about that you can use as a template that you can say, okay, here's 3 captions that I'm really proud of that I feel like do a really good job of sharing my messaging or the formatting or getting engagement, right? Picking those out and then saying, here, ChatGPT, learn this tone, learn this style, learn the way I ask for engagement, things, whatever it is that you like about those captions, right? And then you can have ChatGPT essentially use that information as a template, right? And use this as a template to create another caption about XYZ. And you can give it the information. So you can do that for emails and for captions and the way you're writing, but you can also duplicate those. If you can hear Padme crying, she's at my door crying. If you can just duplicate those emails every single week so that the structure is always the same, right? You can, I mentioned the Canva graphics. You also, and this is it's not really a template, but kind of along the same lines is when you take videos of whatever it may be, whether you've got a video of you working with a client or doing client work, don't use it just one time. Save it in a special folder on your phone, make a new album on your phone, and then reuse that. And so it's not a template per se, but it's something that you can reuse and repurpose, right? The third suggestion is, of course, do batch your content, but you can't batch a month's worth of content in 1 hour today. So, what you can do in less than an hour and what you might find helpful is sitting down and using your emails and using those prompts for ChatGPT and batching out, just the next 3 emails you need to write, or batching out a few posts for Instagram for this week. It won't be the same as batching out your full month of content, but it could give you a little breathing room today and help you simplify in order to then give yourself more room later to do a more full batch week. The fourth thing you can do is you can reduce the number of platforms you're trying to show up on. You do not need a YouTube channel and a podcast and a blog and Instagram, which there are multiple ways you can even show up on Instagram, and Threads, and X, and TikTok, and YouTube Short. You don't need to be on all of these platforms. In fact, I would say you could have just 1 or 2 is a great starting point. Always, 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 always email. And then you could either do long form content or you could do social media and let that be your starting point. So if you're trying to show up in 7 places, well, lower that. You don't need to show up in all the places all the time. Where are your people? Where are you actually seeing engagement? And what feels the most fun? Like I said, I would always, always have an email list. That is the cornerstone. In fact, I've got a video here on YouTube about email marketing being the cornerstone of any strong marketing strategy. But outside of that, what feels good? Where are your people? Where are you getting engagement? And reduce how many platforms you're trying to show up on, because that's going to really simplify how much content and marketing you need to create. So today, sit down, write a list of all the different places that you're showing up at currently, and just X out a few. You can come back to them later. It doesn't have to be forever, but for now, it could help you simplify a whole lot. And the final tip I have today is for you to review your best performing content. So go to these places where you're currently showing up and look at the content that's gotten you the most engagement, that's gotten you the most click throughs, that has gotten you the most emails or responses about, that has been seen by the most amount of people. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at best performing and what that means, but choose a few categories that matter to you and that actually make sense with your own KPIs and your own goals, which if you're not sure how to choose your KPIs and set them up in a way that actually helps you with your marketing and in a way that you can actually use your KPIs to influence your marketing, I do have a full workshop. My KPIs and marketing workshop actually covers all of that, which is included inside of the Chase and Simple playbook. So again, recommend joining the waitlist for that in the description. But looking at your own KPIs and what actually matters based on your goals, what are your best performing pieces of content and how can you reuse them? How can you repurpose them? And you're not reusing and repurposing them today. You're just going to review the ones that are best performing. Look at the ones that perform best and see if you can find any threads, any similarities between them. Just simply make a list of the ones that are best performing. Maybe you can find other topics that are similar to go off of. Maybe you can, again, give them to ChatGPT and say, help me with XYZ. Maybe it's what are some other topics based on these that my audience might like? Use these to help write captions about this thing, and this thing, right? You don't have to do all of that creation today, but just review them. What are the pieces of best performing? And this is going to simplify because it is going to help you do those things to create easier, right? So that the next time you sit down to create content or to create your strategy for what you're going to talk about and share and post and when, you have a list, a starting point. So if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments about any of these. I'm going to run through these one more time really quick, but you're going to narrow your focus to one marketing goal. It's going to make it easier to create content. It's going to make it easier on your schedule because you've got less on your plate if you've got that one goal. And you may do like I do and have an inward and outward one, or you may just have one period, or you may split it up in some other way. But narrowing down your focus is going to make it so that you have less to create. And it's not going to feel so overwhelming because your focus will be narrowed. You're going to create templates for your emails and for your social media and not fully create them. You're going to look at what you already have and turn those into templates, right? So that the next time, again, you go to create, you've got things to work with. You've got a starting point. You're going to batch out some content. Again, doesn't have to be a full month's worth of content. It's not going to be possible in less than an hour, but you could get a little bit done and just make some headway. You're going to reduce the number of platforms you're on. So sitting down and making a list and axing some things so that, again, you don't have to create as much next time you sit down to create. You're going to, I'm saying 4, but I think this is actually number 5. I did that one. Yeah. Okay. I lost count. Finally, you're going to review your best performing content so that, again, you've got a starting point. Next time you sit down to create, you already know what has worked well in the past and what you can do more of and what you can tweak. That is what I have for you today, my friend. If you like this video, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. And I'd love to know. I'm thinking about doing a segment each week where I release videos reviewing nonfiction books that I have read that have to do with business and personal growth, self-help, things like that. I love to read. If you listen to my podcast, Chase and Simple, you know that every week I give a book recommendation of ones that I liked. This segment would be more so, I read this. Maybe that I liked it, maybe that I didn't. Here's who I think it would help, and here is a takeaway. If that's something that you would find interesting and that you would want to watch, let me know in the comments so that I know whether it's worth actually pursuing and doing all the work to record and plan and outline and all the things. So, all right, I will see you next Monday. I have a great guest for you I'm so excited about, but make sure mark your calendars for every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, or I'm sorry, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for our live Lunch and Learns every single week. I'll see you then.